Coming up on this edition of the Met Report, President Obama in the Mile High City again. We'll tell you why the short visit.
And a new study about people who use tablets like iPads and Kindles, what it could mean for college students.
Plus, we've heard all about the cruise ship off the coast of Italy, how it'll affect tourism in the upcoming months. Next.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Met Report. I'm Lieka Bryant.
And I'm LeeAnna Duarte. Most have heard about the Costa Concordia and its tragic collapse off the Tuscan coast of Italy. The death toll was last reported at 16. But will an error made by the captain under fire have a negative effect on the cruise ship industry? Reporter Paula Ruelas has the story.
A navigational error made by Captain Francesco Scatino of the Costa Concordia caused the cruise ship to crash into nearby rocks, ultimately capsizing. Accounts of the accident include Scatino jumping ship, leaving passengers on board, while crew members had them confused with their contradicting orders, creating massive panic. The accident is considered the worst cruise ship disaster in recent history and has many questioning the safety of a cruise and has analysts attempting to determine if it will negatively affect the cruise industry.
People canceling their cruises within the next few weeks.
Although professionals expect a short-term lull in bookings, they do not expect any long-term effects.
You look at the cruise ship industry, and certainly there are fires and there are things that happen on board, but something this tragic actually happening again, the chances are very slight.
In fact, a recently conducted survey shows 65% of people saying they would still book a cruise, but will think twice before booking with Costa. 4% would not, and 31% remain undecided. With the Met Report, I'm Paula Ruelas.
The Colorado legislature will meet to talk about many things in the coming months. Simone von Ribbenberg is in the newsroom with a more in-depth look.
The Colorado legislature met this week to talk about jobs, the economy, and the budget. Take a look as we broke it down for you. It's important to remember that Democrats enjoy an advantage in the Senate, but the Republicans hold a one-seat majority in the House. Jobs remain at the forefront, and the legislature will be seeking ways to both create and secure jobs for Coloradans. It's important to note that property tax breaks given to seniors allow the legislature to spend funds accordingly. The question remains whether or not to allow the tax breaks to take effect, or to suspend it and use the money on other programs such as education. The debate over whether children of illegal immigrants should be eligible to receive in-state tuition remains a hot-button issue. Similar proposals have failed in the past. It's going to be a fight for voters when the November elections roll around. The session opened last Wednesday and will end by midnight on May 9th of this year. Though tensions may seem a little bit high, the primary focus is really on creating jobs and building up the economy. We'll be sure to keep an eye on that for you. For the Met Report, I'm Simone von Ribbenberg.
Governor Hickenlooper gave his State of the State address earlier this month, highlighting his plan to restructure Pinnacle Assurance. Currently, Pinnacle is a quasi-governmental agency. Hickenlooper wants to change it into a private mutual assurance, with the state owning 40% of the company. In the proposal, the state would receive $13.6 million each year to use as higher education and economical developmental purposes.
According to the college, they submitted the name Denver State University during the 2011 legislative session, but pulled the request following objections from the University of Denver officials. Members of the SGA say they will still support the name Denver State University, but other words may need to be added to satisfy the legislature. We will keep you updated on the final decision. A follow-up on Metro student Laura Treem. If you recall, she was struck by the light rail on November 4th as she crossed the intersection of Spear and Stout near the Auraria campus. She will soon go outside and have solid food for the first time 3 months since her accident. Although she sustained critical injuries, her progress continues to be positive and her family is extremely optimistic. Treem's Facebook page proudly proclaimed that today could be huge as the 22-year-old Metro student takes yet another step towards recovery. A fundraising site has been created to help offset the family's medical expenses and ensure that Laura receives the best care possible. If you would like to donate, please visit www.giveforward.com and search Laura Treem.
More and more students are using tablets such as iPads and Kindles to replace their books. Well, beware of the so-called iPad shoulders. Researchers say tablet computers can encourage poor posture. Apparently, using a tablet PC on your lap means you look down more, putting pressure on your joints. That can lead to aching shoulders and neck injuries. Experts from the Harvard School of Public Health suggest you prop it on a table, preferably in an elevated position.
When we come back, all the latest with the Republican candidates running for the presidency. Plus, the men's and women's basketball teams have been doing exceptionally well. Could it mean big things for the future? We'll be right back.
Believe in yourself, realize that anything is possible, keep your eyes on the prize.
When you're at your weakest point, grace can rise up and pull you out.
So I felt like I was filling a void.
Even when I'm faced with difficult situations, I can always find something to smile about.
Little simple ways. I mean, there's really lots of things you can plug into.
We should be working on comprehensive immigration reform. Everyone gets a fair shot. What's at stake aren't democratic values or Republican values, but American values.
That was President Obama giving his State of the Union address, and those are some of the subjects he touched on. In addition, President Obama has strong words to say in regards to higher education.
So let me put colleges and universities on notice. If you can't stop tuition from going up, the funding you get from taxpayers will go down. Higher education can't be a luxury. It is an economic imperative that every family in America should be able to afford.
Obama was in an unusual exchange between President and Arizona Republican Governor Jan Brewer this week while visiting the swing state. The governor and president had an intense encounter shortly after he got off Air Force One. Reporters noticed the two were interrupting each other, and at one point the governor was pointing her finger at the president as she spoke. Reports say the two were bickering about Brewer's book, which the president took issue with.
Well, speaking of issues with the presidency, the Republican nomination is still up in the air. We have reporter Nina Dadaboy in studio to give the update on all the latest.
Over the past month, Michelle Bachmann, John Huntsman, and Rick Perry have each dropped out of the race after their poor results in the first few primaries. This leaves the spot for the 2012 GOP candidacy open to Newt Gingrich, Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, and Ron Paul. The race is completely up in the air, with Iowa going to Santorum with just 34 more votes than Romney, Romney sweeping the state of New Hampshire, and Gingrich taking South Carolina. The battle has now moved to Florida, which will be the first big state to have a say in the GOP race this Tuesday. The four remaining Republican hopefuls convened in Tampa on Monday evening and again last night in Jacksonville in heated debates. As always, candidates were at each other's throats.
In the 1990s, he had to resign in disgrace from this job as Speaker. I had the opportunity to go off and run the Olympic Winter Games. In the 15 years after he left the speakership, the Speaker has been working as an influence peddler in Washington.
Early polling data shows Romney on top by 2 points over Gingrich, but as we've seen throughout the entire race, the results can change in an instant. The Colorado caucus is on February 7th, and the Met Report will continue to keep you posted on the Republican nomination for presidency as hopefuls travel around the country. Back to you on desk.
If you use Google, Craigslist, or any of the popular social media sites, you may have noticed they were shut down, blacked out, or buzzed with SOPA gossip. With the suspension of the controversial SOPA and PIPA bills, the U.S. government has taken it upon themselves to police the internet. SOPA, or Stop Online Privacy Act, and PIPA, Privacy IP Act, were vaguely worded bills which would have given the U.S. government the ability to police the internet by blocking out websites the government felt were infringing copyright. However, these bills have been suspended for 1 year. The United States government have shut down multiple sharing sites such as FileServer, FileSonic, and one of the most popular sites, Mega Upload.
Forget fourth meal. Taco Bell is now hoping you'll stop by for your first meal of the day, breakfast. The Mexican-style fast food chain said it's rolling out a new 11-item menu of classic American breakfast choices this week. Taco Bell says 750 restaurants in 10 states will be selling the breakfast foods. Cinnabon Delights, breakfast burritos, and eggs and sausage are some of the food items you can expect to see. The company says more restaurants will start carrying breakfast next year. It's that time of year again when cookies are delivered straight to our doorsteps. The Girl Scouts of America are once again selling their famous cookies. Thin Mints, Samoas, and Tagalongs are just a few of the famous cookies that are sold every year in January that help raise money for the organization. This year, the Girl Scouts turn 100 and they are still going strong. This year is different, however, because instead of ordering the cookies and then waiting until March for them to be delivered, you are able to enjoy the cookies you love immediately. The Met Report went out on campus to find out what Girl Scout cookie is your favorite.
I think my favorite Girl Scout cookie would have to be the Thin Mint.
The Thin Mints, and why?
Because they're thin and minty and delicious.
I like the Tagalongs because of the peanut butter.
Do-si-dos.
Do-si-dos? Why is that?
The peanut butter deliciousness.
Okay. The Tagalongs, and usually what I like to do is I dip it in milk for like 5 seconds exactly, take a bite, dip another 5 seconds, and then take another bite. Girl Scouts, my stuff.
But if you're staying away from all that junk food, reporter Benjamin Smith tells us what resources we have on campus to keep you feeling fit.
I'm trying to get more healthy, man. I just left the gym, trying to get back in good shape. The holidays took its toll.
With the new year comes resolutions. The most popular, of course, is to get in shape.
My pants don't fit anymore, and therefore, I'm reduced to only 2 pair of pants. So, I've decided to get skinnier.
The PE building here on Auraria campus is home to a variety of options that can get your blood moving. And for students, it doesn't cost anything. Campus Rec is home to workout facilities such as a fitness center, basketball courts, and a full-size pool. This facility has many other resources such as a racquetball court, a dance studio, and even a rock climbing wall. Tony Price, the director at Campus Recreation, gives us a little more information about all the fitness classes and clubs that are offered at Metro.
Campus Recreation comes in and provides morning and noon and evening drop-in swim times that are free and available to our students. In addition, we do swim clinics.
Students can take a variety of classes such as cycling, aqua aerobics, Zumba dance classes, and much more.
Just don't be scared. It's people all different ages, just like in your classrooms, young, old, fat, thin.
With all these options right here on campus, there's something for everyone to get their blood moving. For the Met Report, I'm Benjamin Smith, and I'll see you at the gym.
It looks like there are quite a bit of classes students can take, and all they need is their ID with a current sticker, and they are good to go.
I love Tagalongs. I cannot wait.
I'm so jealous. My New Year's resolution is no Girl Scout cookies. So, when we come back, Pora Ruelas joins us in studio with the latest in Hollywood gossip.
And Kevin Hall has all the latest in Metro sports, and we'll give you a sneak peek of what's coming up next in the X Games. Don't go anywhere.